$95 an hour. That sounds like a real business. That sounds like money. But I want to walk you through what that number actually looks like after you back out every cost that touches that truck. Because for most HVAC shops, the number that stays at the end of the day is not 95. It's not even close. Here's the problem. Most shop owners set their labor rate once, maybe when they started, maybe when a competitor raised theirs, and then they leave it alone. They assume that bill rate is doing the work, that it's covering costs and building margin. But a rate is just a number on an invoice. What it earns depends entirely on how many hours that tech is actually generating revenue each day, and how much of that revenue survives the cost stack. Most owners have never sat down and done that math. Today you're going to do it. Let's start with billable efficiency. This is the percentage of the workday where a tech is on the clock generating revenue for the shop. The rest of the time, drive time between jobs, time spent waiting on parts, administrative callbacks, lunch, and downtime between dispatches. That time costs you money but earns you nothing. According to Service Titan benchmark data, the average HVAC tech hits around 68% billable efficiency. 68% of an 8-hour day is 5.5 hours. So your tech is billing revenue for 5.5 hours. And you're paying for 8. 5.5 hours at $95 per hour is $522 in daily revenue. That is your ceiling. That is everything the truck can earn before a single cost is paid. Now let's build the cost side. First, wages. An experienced HVAC technician earns $26 to $32 an hour in most markets. Call it $28 base. But loaded labor. Once you add payroll taxes, workers' comp, unemployment, and any benefits, runs 30 to 40% more. At 35% burden, your tech costs $38 an hour loaded. 8 hours times $38, $304 per day just for that one person. Second, the truck. A finance service vehicle at $65,000 over 5 years at 7% interest is about $1,300 per month in principal and interest. That's $43 per workday. Add commercial auto insurance at $3,500 per year. Another $14 per day. Maintenance, tires, and repairs on a working service truck run $4,000 to $6,000 per year. Another $16 to $20 per day. Fuel for a tech driving 80 to 100 miles a day runs $12 to $15. Total truck cost, approximately $85 to $95 per workday. Call it $90. Third, overhead. Every truck on the road carries a share of your fixed costs, rent or mortgage on the shop, general liability insurance, software subscriptions, marketing, dispatcher time, phone systems, and back office admin. For a typical HVAC shop, overhead runs 18 to 25% of revenue. At 20% of $522 in daily revenue, that's $104 in overhead allocated to that truck each day. Now let's add that up. Wages, $304. Trek, $90. Overhead, $104. Total cost per truck per day, $498. Revenue per truck per day at 68% efficiency, $522. Daily gross profit, $24. Divided across 5.5 billable hours, that is $4.36 per billable hour. Not 95. 4. Now that's a simplified model. Every shop is different. Some shops have lower overhead. Some techs are more efficient. Flat rate pricing changes the math. But the structure of the problem is real and consistent. The gap between your bill rate and your actual profit per billable hour is much larger than most owners realize. The HVAC industry benchmark for a healthy gross margin on field labor is 30 to 40%. At these numbers, most shops are running between 4 and 12%. That's not a pricing strategy. That's a slow leak. Lever 1. Raise your rate. Moving from $95 to $115 per hour adds $110 per day in revenue, without adding a single hour, a single hire, or a single new truck. Gross profit jumps from $24 to $134 per day. Margin moves from 4% to 26%. Most HVAC customers are not price shopping your labor rate against a competitor. They are making a trust decision. They're asking, will this company show up, do it right, and stand behind the work? If the answer is yes, A $20 rate increase is invisible to them and transformative to you. Lever 2. Recover 1 billable hour per tech per day. That means tighter dispatch routing. Fewer windshield miles between jobs. Faster parts access so techs aren't driving to a supply house midday. Fewer callback jobs eating up scheduled revenue time. 1 additional billable hour per truck, per day at $95. That's $95 in revenue that lands almost entirely as profit once your fixed daily costs are already covered. Across 2 trucks, 250 working days. That's $47,500 in incremental revenue. Same headcount. Same equipment. Just better hour utilization. Lever 3. Start measuring billable efficiency. Here's the hard part. Most shops don't track it. They look at total revenue, maybe revenue per tech per week, but not the underlying efficiency number. And what you don't measure, you can't improve. Start tracking billable hours versus scheduled hours per tech per week. Calculate your efficiency number every Monday morning. Post it in your ops review. Most shops that start measuring this see efficiency climb 5 to 10 percentage points in the first quarter, just from attention and accountability. 5 extra percentage points of efficiency across 2 techs at $95 is almost $24,000 of additional annual revenue. From a spreadsheet, here's what the $95 rate really costs you. It feels like a real number. It passes the gut check. But it lets a shop run hard. Trucks moving, phones ringing, calls booked, while quietly generating margins that won't survive 1 bad month or 1 major breakdown. The number on your invoice is not your business. The number that stays, after wages, after the truck, after overhead, that's your business. Know that number. Then fix it. This is Margin and Wrench. New playbook every day. Hit subscribe.